I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo,
yeah.
no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders.
What up? What up? What up? Welcome in here to Pregaming at Sports Money. It's Friday. TGIFF. Hopefully everyone had a great week. I'm excited for a great weekend. This show will give us what we need to have some fun here tonight. I've got a ladder play in store for you in the NBA. And I've got a same game parlay in the NHL. Short slate for the NHL, short slate for college football. Really short slate for Major League Baseball. I realized I left that off the screen. I don't know how I did that. I've got two big plays for Major League Baseball. We'll talk about everything in the world of the sports landscape this evening. Then, tomorrow, we will pop off bright and early. I believe, let me just check. Let me check. And what I'm checking for is the schedule. They had a fight cancellation. So 10:15 is the current slated start time for the UFC 321 over in Abu Dhabi. My girl Carly Baker will be there. And we will be live breaking down plays, giving you guys trends, angles, adjustment, anything you guys need to go out there and get some money with this thing. We've had two monster cards in a row for cash and tickets. So when I say monsters, I mean swept the board. Prelims both weeks, came up with huge bombs, fired away like 10 of 11 fights. Just a great run in the UFC. And so the best part about tomorrow is, it starts at 10:15, but guess what starts around noon? College football. CFB starts at noon. So we'll talk college football. We'll talk the NHL. We'll talk the NBA. It's going to be a sports day is what it's going to be. And the last fight takes place at 4:30. So probably by 5 p.m. or so, it's dinner time. We're going to take all that money we won tomorrow. We're going to go out and have some fun with our family and friends. That's the plan for tomorrow. And then get ready and get set because the newest program to the Sports Money lineup will kick off on Sunday. I am super jacked up about it. NFL, baby, it comes to Sports Money. And it should be a ton of fun breaking down every single game on the NFL card with my boy, our co-host, debuting here, not debuting to the business. And it's going to be a ton of fun. So I hope you guys get ready for that. We'll talk props. We'll talk players. We'll talk trends. We'll talk angles. We'll talk cash flow. We'll talk injury updates. We'll talk weather. We're going to talk it all. We're going to boil it all down for you guys in about an hour to get through the entire NFL card, get some best bets, talk some teasers, some look ahead spots, and all the rest that goes into it. So get ready. Comes Sunday. And I've been working on the graphics and stuff this afternoon. So I'm fired up for it. Fired up, jacked up. I hope you guys are as well. Going to be a surprise, I think, when you see our guest and our co-host. I shouldn't say guest. He's a co-host. My co-host. And I'm fired up. I'm really excited for the NFL. Finally got the groove, got in the swing of things. Unfortunately, I did take my first loss in, it was like 8-1 in the last 9. Every time I say that, this is fucking Twitter. Everyone on Twitter is 8-1 in their last 9. When I say it, I end up taking it now. So the first half loss was a heartbreaker. It was a tearjerker. Justin Jefferson did not get his touchdown. And that sucked too. But what are you going to do? We live to fight another day. It was just disappointing. Positive. Here's a positive. I'll come up with a silver lining in this thing. Shout out to DraftKings. They refunded my bet. I had a bunch of bets tied to, who the heck were they tied to? Why can't I think of his name now? Jeez. Am I drawing a blank already? Am I struggling? Anyways, goes down, gets hurt. First half, doesn't come back in the second half. Why can't I think of his name? I don't know. It doesn't matter. They refunded my bet. So that was pretty exciting. And I had 3 bets tied to it. So I was getting involved in the player prop, starting to parlay them together. And that's the way it went. Now, I don't know if you took notice. Sometimes you have to read between the lines. Phillips comes out of the federal court hearing. What'd you notice? Probably he shit himself when he saw those reporters. That was probably the first thing he noticed. He was like, oh shit, there's a lot of reporters out here. Take a look at his hoodie. Whose hoodie was he rocking? I mean, I'm sure he paid for it or got it. But I think there's something going on there. You guys better check it out, dude. Do your own research. But I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised about anything these days, to be honest with you guys. So that was interesting. How about camping? You know, sometimes I literally saw this and I thought to myself, you guys are probably like, who? Adrian Kempe, Los Angeles Kings. We got the Kings winner last night. He scores in overtime. He goes up to the fans in the stands and he does this. Horns down, baby. I thought it was awesome. There's no need to do it. It's not even Texas football. But it was Texas. And he did show some blatant disrespect. So you got to like that. You got to like a guy that's got a little juice. A little skin in the game. The guy was fired up, man. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool stuff. And, you know, Carson Wentz is a bum. That's probably how I would conclude yesterday's action. Guy got crushed. He got busted up. He got beat up. All things considered. 3 points. 3 points is all they could muster up. Jeez. Now, I don't want to hear any more talk about the Eagles. When I say I don't want to hear it, what I mean by that is stop the hate, everybody. And I know a lot of you guys are on board. But what have we noticed? Besides the most prolific wide receiver duo, maybe in the history of football, maybe, we got Jalen Hurts. He's leading the NFL with 11-1 passing touchdowns to interception ratio. 11-1. He leads the NFL. He leads the NFL in all kinds of stats and trends out there, but that's not the only thing. Their defense is out there now, busting a groove. Only allowed 7 passing touchdowns. That's second best in the league. And the quarterbacks on the other team are only completing 59.4% of the passes. That's the 4th lowest in the league. They also played Dak Gas Can Prescott, Patrick Super Bowl Mahomes, Matty Ice Stafford, and Baker Mayfield. 4 guys all in the top 10 of the MVP race. If you didn't know, now you know. Eagles are bad men. Look out, Giants. You are in the way this weekend. I will say that to you guys. Some interesting trends. Now, Carson Wentz was 7-0 on Thursdays. The Vikings were 0-10 on the road on Thursdays. One of them O's had to go. I'm not surprised it was Carson Wentz's O. He's a fucking... Hey, good for him. Found a way to parlay an FCS North Dakota State gimmick into Boku NFL dollars. So, can't hate him for it. Just got to respect it and move on. What else happened? Well, we've got some early afternoon action here for for NBA basketball. Did you know? I was looking at it, I was like, why are they starting early? Oh, that makes sense. Because there's a little thing called the World Series. Now, some of you guys said Seattle the other day, and I was like, I like it, but I don't like it. I like the idea. Didn't like the place. Toronto is in play tonight. I like the idea. I don't like the teams. So I will say this, though, for you guys that are looking at that early game, Toronto does have a nice little 10-0-1 over trend going on out there. If they made at least 47 shots the previous game. So in other words, they're kind of dialed in, right? And I know it's early to say that, but if they're kind of dialed in, They're soaring over the number 10 out of the last, 10-0-1. So, 10 overs and a push in the last 11 times that they've been dialed in. They are at 234. They're going over by 13 points a game in those spots. So it's not an official play, just an early little Easter egg for everybody that got in here early and ready to get some money with us on this show. I'll tell you this. I like the Raptors. I rather like the Raptors a lot. So now think about that. If I told you I don't like the Toronto parlay, which is the Toronto team that I'm not going to get involved with? Okay. So that covers that. Let's talk about some recap from yesterday. We'll get into the show. Most important thing we have is transparency. You know the deal, the 3 pillars of sports money. We treat everybody with respect. We have transparency and a high level of integrity in the way that we do our business. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Now, it wasn't a great day yesterday. Net $5. So, that's not even it's 1/20th of a unit, I guess. Not even. It's 1/200. I don't know. Anyways, it wasn't great. Actually, you know what? We're down a unit now that I think about it, because Denver. No, $5. Flyers lost 2-1. I said that I didn't like that over in that game, specifically because I was concerned that Brady Tkachuk being out of there. That's a big component of firepower that just gets removed from the offense. And when he's not in there, they don't really have enough backup potential in terms of goal scoring capabilities. It stayed under 2-1 final, but they lost. They couldn't get 2 fucking goals to tie that damn thing. Under 6. I'm not dissuaded by it. We've cashed like 18 of the last 22 times or something like that on Florida Panthers Thursday unders. It's a 5-3 final for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Dogs were barking in that one, so good for them. The Islanders busted up the Detroit Red Wings. We had that one penciled. Well, didn't have penciled. We had it penned. We had it penned in. 7-2 final. I still like the Red Wings. Doesn't change anything. It just wasn't a great spot for them. And then I gave you guys that under 5.5 in the Seattle-Winnipeg game. 3-0 shutout. That was a nice little even money spot there. Sadly, though, Edmonton-Montreal 6-5. That game did not stay under. But the Kings did win in overtime against the Dallas Stars. So, look, Jeff and I were live. We talked a little bit about what's the worst lead to have. Now, you haven't heard this anywhere. This is a Sports Money exclusive. Sports Money exclusive. The worst lead to have in hockey is a 2-goal lead going in the third period. We're going to perfect it and revamp it, and I believe that's going to now be overtime plays. I'm going to start tracking it. Overtime plays or dogs. We'll see how this evolves. But last night we were catching the Colorado Avalanche. They were down 4-2 going into that third period, and I think we got 600, 700s, 800s. I can't remember if we got anything else past that. Anyways, what happens? Well, they tie the game up and they go to overtime. So there you have it. Another Sports Money original here. Look, 2-goal lead's the worst lead to have in hockey. I know Jeff's been saying it with me. We've been saying it for the last 2 seasons at least. These are things you have to watch out for. This is the experience. This is the expertise. It's not our first time watching hockey. We've seen it enough to know. Now I think if you go for the overtimes, like if your team's down like 4-2 like that, I should have looked and seen what the overtime number was. Had to be like 600-700. It was easy money. Even if it was 400, it's still easy money. So anyways, we'll keep our eyes on that. Also, college football. We did cash our South Bama spot. -6.5 came through for us. So that was good money. Pacers. Pacers win the game. Overtime. Again, for OKC. Overtime. But the Pacers covered. 7.5 points. They lost by 6. Thank goodness. That was sweaty. And we cashed Denver first half, but we lost Denver full game. So that's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say here, as I say here. I always think of Jim Carrey when I say that from, what was the movie what was that movie? Where he was the weather reporter? And he said, that's the way the cookie crumbles. All right. We're going to get to work. You guys know the deal. The most important thing we do to kick this show off is two things. One, smash the like button. Two, recognize all the plays that our chat is involved with here this evening. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to get ready to fire off this card. I've got a banger for you guys. I've got two NHL games. I told you Washington and Cebus. And Calgary and the Jets. I've got two plays in that game. North Texas and Charlotte. I didn't really like tonight's college football slate. I got two plays, but I didn't really like it. I'll tell you what I am going to do, though. 7:30 p.m. Sound will be jamming for Enter Sandman. California's going to take on Virginia Tech. That's this right now, today. October 24th has got to be the best fucking day to be in Blacksburg watching football. This is what it's all about. Enter Sandman. It'll be dark. It's fall in the air. And you got a big ACC battle coming to town. What a great night that's going to be. That'll be on the big screen. Then we're going to fire up some NBA. I've got Atlanta, Orlando. Nice little trend there. I've got Boston and the Knicks. I got a nice little trend there. And I got a ladder play there. We're going to take a ladder that's going to give us the top end at a plus 1,100. I've got the Spurs and the Pelicanos. Golden State and Portland. Looking forward to talking that one. And then we'll bring her home with the about to go on the shit list, Phoenix Suns, LA Clippers. How's that sound, you guys? If you're excited about this show, show me some support, show some love. If you like what we're doing here at Sports Money, you're excited for the new show, you're excited it's Friday. I don't care what your reason is. Whatever you got to tell yourself, now's the great opportunity to smash that thumbs up button. That helps us an absolute ton. Just show some respect, show some love. Shows the fact that we're here, we're growing, and you guys believe in what we're doing. So let's take a second to do that right now. And how could I forget? Of course, I got Major League Baseball to talk about. So let's go. Let's get to work. Get those plays in the chat. Let's talk about the action you guys are involved with, and let's keep this thing rolling. Shout out to my guy, Stop Geo Engineering, says TGIF, my family at Sports Money and the chat. Wishing us all good luck to kick the weekend off right. That's what I'm saying right there, man. Positive vibes. Isn't that look at my guy, Stop Geo Engineering, huh? We're all here to have fun. We're all here to make money. We're all here to work together to beat the books. And the positive vibes is what I'm talking about, man. Building this community and showing some just positive feedback, right? I mean, that's what we want to hear. What's this? Shout out to Nicholas Handy. Shout out to Jay Main. Pachico de Gallo. These Canadian dinos gets us paid tonight, he says. There's Gas Station Sushi. What's up, Gas? Hope you're doing well, my guy. One and Only says, what's your best pick tonight? Well, I'll get to it. I don't know if I have I think I do. I think I do. Bo Jackson says, let's go Jays. Plant-based. Shout out to you, Bo Jackson. I hope you have a fun night tonight, my friend. If you guys didn't know, Bo Jackson is at the game or going to the game. And I hope he has a lovely evening. Plant-based in the house. There's Bo says, if the Jays win tonight, they'll win Game 6 in Toronto. Shout out to Justin McKelvey, says sports money is money. Plant-based says, good call on the Kings last night at plus money. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You heard? And I gave them out live, and I gave out a couple other live plays last night. Hey, all good. That's what we're here for. Any Moneylines, guys, says One and Only EBK. Bojack says, I'll tag Mike of X for some World Series vids or use. Yeah, man. Let's go, Bo. Hell yeah. Get me in the game, dude. Get some videos out there, and then WhatsApp me some videos. I'll make something. I'll do something. Stop Geo says FanDuel happy hour. 20% boost for the NBA straight or parlays. Peter Gracia says, Sup, Mikey? Happy Friday. Let's cash. Stop Geo says FanDuel 50% live boost in the Lakers T-Wolves game. I would firebomb the T-Wolves in that game if that's the case. Peter Gracia says Toronto run line and leaning the over. Jay Main says Boncaro over 32.5 points and rebounds. Been over 4 of his last 5. Head-to-head all 3 last year. Justin McCovey says, now I got to see whose hoodie Chauncey had on. Yeah, dude. Go take a look. Go take a look. I'm not saying, but I am saying to take a look anyways. Allegedly. There's a lot of messaging that goes on in there. And if you believe in some of the stuff I believe in, you'll see that hoodie and you'll know what's going down. Skunk bag play of the day is in. It's Sacramento Kings money line and Sacramento State money line parlay. There it is from our guy Skunk Blaster. The skunk bag play of the day is in. Nasty Nate thinks the Celtics are going to smash. Bo Jackson says Raptors money line, Jays money line. Stay off the Leafs. D Money in the house. What up, D Money? He says Maple Leafs. Justin McKelvey says, I used a no sweat bet and parlayed all three Toronto teams at plus 631. Pacheco de Gallo's got 2 goals into the third. It's a 2-goal lead going into the third. Bet the other team or bet the overtime. AJ says, happy Friday. DJ Hardy says, I've been saying that for years. 2-goal leads. Yep. Bruce Almighty. That's what it was. That's the way that cookie crumbles. What's her name in that? It was a little smoke show though, wasn't she? What was her name? She was in Jag too. Remember Jag? I can't think of her name. I was back when they built them right. You know what I mean? Stop Geos laughing. DJ Hardy says Calgary team total under 2.5 even money. Shout out to David Wallace. The Sweaty Butcher's here. What's up, Sweaty Butcher? Jerry Davis. He's at Dartmouth minus 12 in the under 48.5. Mark Kell says at Justin, let's go up on the Raps money line and alternate spread minus 3. Sancho's got the T-Wolves minus 2.5. The Pelicans plus 4.5 and the Dodgers money line. There's Gary in the house. He says, go Jays. Justin McCabe says, at Mark Kell. Heavy on over 234 in the Raptors. Mark Kell says, damn it. I wish I added team total over for the Raptors too. Jerry Davis says, that Mikey, using Aspinall as an anchor bet. I don't anchor bet. And I don't believe Espinal is going to just automatically win that fight. I'll just say that. Did you watch the weigh-ins? Take a look at the weigh-ins. Wink, wink. Joe T's in the house. Capitals Blue Jackets. First period over 1.5 for Jover. What's up, Jover? Hope you're doing well, my friend. Peter Gracia says LFGJs. Los Angeles Dodgers phony trying to buy championships. Come on, he says. Dale fixes. Catherine Bell. That's right. That's right, dude. Yeah. Mark House says Jennifer Aniston. Oh, yeah. She was in that too, wasn't she? Remember when he lassoed the moon? And then what did he do? You know what he did. What's up, Cherokee Watered Nations in the houses? Let's dominate, gents. Listen, I got you guys going, huh? Plant-based is anchor betting's dangerous. Yeah, I don't mind tying. I guess I prefer to round robin, right? So I don't want to have, I've done it before, but it's just not a comfortable way to live, right? Like we got everything tied to one play. We've seen Red X do it. And then what happens, right? The whole damn card's shot because you lost your anchor. And so I don't like anything that much. It's why it's a difficult situation when you guys will ask me, like, what's your best bet? Like, I'm not a best bet guy. I've got best bets, plural, but I just feel like if I give you one best bet, then, maybe you go heavier on that than you should. I heard a great point today. I'm going to repeat it. It's not mine, but it does go along with the philosophy. Why don't we drop 10 units on a single play or 20 units on a single play? Or this is my 100-unit fucking play of the century, fucking free house bet, whatever you want to call it, right? These are human beings. And if the NBA showed us anything, whenever there's money involved, the human element will just fuck things up. They will. We're dealing with the lowest rung of society when it comes to betting. And so while it's become legal and more accepted now across 37 or 38 states, the fact of the matter is anything can happen on any given day, just like a horse race, right? I know I saw Gas Station in here. He could attest to this, I'm sure. You can't necessarily guarantee that anything's, even the 2-5 favorite. What's to say that he doesn't, get cut off and I don't know. Something happens, right? No different than your minus, 22 point hammercock locks. No, there's no such thing. And so you got to be responsible because there is that anything can happen. You know what they say, any given Sunday, right? Yeah, this team should win, but how many times have we seen dogs come out and bark? And so keeping it consistent, flat betting, cast a wider net, spread yourself out a little bit more so that if you do, Instead of making just one big play, you make 4 plays. Maybe you go 3-1. Maybe you go 4-0. But you're having fun. You're mitigating some of that risk, right? Because that's what it comes down to, is anything can happen at any given time. So let's go. LALV says this is payback from the Dodgers to the league for 2017. I did see that stop, Gio, the boost. I did see the boost for DK on the UFC, so I'm working on it. I got something. Jeff and I gave a parlay out there, so if you guys haven't seen First Strike yet, we broke down, we gave you 2 bets, we gave you a parlay, and then we talked about some other options across the fight card. So we probably put exposure out there on 6 or 7 different fights. And so you can check that out. I think they're all good spots to get involved with. Scott Blaster says, Mikey, I think Portland is live. With that said, I'm stuck between the first half money line and the full game. Thoughts? I'll talk about that one. I had it on the card, don't I? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Pachico de Gallo. I didn't want to say it. I don't even want to say it. But whose sports group is that? Stop the smoke and mirrors in the house. DJ Hardy says, let's like San Francisco this weekend. Linus Fishy Sancho says, Floyd did it the right way. Bet on himself. Yeah, why not? Nothing wrong with, well, as long as you're not taking your unders. Sharky says, take the Texans 100%. Sounds like a 100-unit bet. I'm just kidding, Sharky. Wine Time says, what's up, Mikey? What's up, Wine Time? Peter Gracias says, thank you, Sharky, brother. Happy Friday. Salute. Barkel says, at Wine Time, we back at it. My mother ran out of wine. What are we doing tonight? Let's go. Seeds from the Italian, bottle of red, bottle of white. Let's go. Yeah, my guy. All right, you guys, let's get to this games. Let's get to some action. Let's make some money here tonight. And got a bunch of things to do to get ready for this big weekend. Again, UFC will pop off tomorrow at 10:15. So it's going to run from we'll start about, 9:50? Say 10 to 10. And then we'll probably run through about 10:30. I'm sorry, 10:30. Woo. That'd be a long day. 10 to 10 till about 5:30. That's what I'm expecting the UFC window to look like, which is great because we'll be covering the full slate tomorrow, the whole board tomorrow. You'll get every single thought, concept, any questions you guys want to ask. We're going to be there to answer them for you guys. And we're going to look to stack paper, baby. That's what we're here to do. That's what we're going to get after. We're going to talk about a bunch of these games tonight and see if we can't stack some paper as well. The Capitals and the Blue Jackets will pop off in game number 1 for our gambling card. And all right. No, I don't want any business in that Sharks and Devils game. Sharp Respected Betting Report went 2-0 last night on the sides. I don't remember what they had on the total. Let me look. Sharp, where did it go? Sharp Respected Betting Report had the Blackhawks. I told you I was going to sprinkle it. And they had the Ducks. They had the under 6 in the Edmonton game. So 2-1, but up 2.6 units. Sharp Respected Betting Report yesterday. Sharp Respected Betting Report today. They're taking the Devils. That's fucking crazy. However, the Sharks are bad, and they just came off a big win last night. So I don't want anything to do with that game. Second leg of a back-to-back. No thanks. Pass. Toronto and Buffalo. I'll comment on this. If you're not familiar with the proximity, a shit ton of Toronto fans take over Buffalo. Number one reason, price. I say price and proximity. It's an hour and a half or so ride down the old QEW to get to the Buffalo Sabres game. Yeah, you got to cross the border. But proximity. Some places in Toronto, it's going to take you an hour and a half to get to the stadium. Especially if you live towards Hamilton, Brantford area. Brampton. So listen. Proximity. Price. We've heard guys talk about it. Spenny Pennybombs has talked about it. It could be upwards of $1,000 to get a ticket for a Toronto Blue Jays or Toronto Maple Leafs game. Not in Buffalo. Jeff was talking about it the other night. They had $8 tickets the other night. $8. Now they're 300 level tickets, but $8 tickets. So for that reason, And I know the line looks kind of funky, and I know that there's some players out of this game, and it is Alex Leon, it's Anthony Stolarz that'll go on the other side. It would be Toronto or pass for me. It would be Toronto or pass. Yeah, Buffalo put a couple W's together, but it's going to be a loud Toronto barn. Sabres are scoring. So maybe you think about the total in that game and look for some Friday night fireworks. Jet Greaves will take the net as the go-to for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Logan Thompson is confirmed on the other side. Both goalies are playing spectacular. Almost dead nuts. Now, the records aren't the same, but that's because Washington is just so fucking dominant. They're defensively only allowing 13 total goals in 7 games. That's pretty phenomenal. That's 1.86 goals allowed per game. One of the best in the league. And they got their best goaltender to go out there and do it. He's got a 1.6 goals against average, 92.6% save percentage. Greaves on the other side. He was in net for that 5-1 win over Dallas, where Dallas sandbagged me. Dallas was the second leg of that parlay. It was also Merzlikins that was the guy in the goal for them. But I look at this one and I thought, I like Washington. Is the price tag fishy? A little bit. Why is a team this dominant early only sitting at minus 115? And I get the road, but still, the Blue Jackets aren't really, well, they're scoring, I guess, too. Bottom line for me, when I looked at this game, just got to ride the numbers. We got domination and goal. Yeah, there's 6.5 out there, but I want to keep this plus money in there so that my ROI is as strong as it can be, because a 4-2 game, does it push and I'm pissed? Yeah. Later in the season, when we have some more analytics behind it, will I be willing to take that 6.5 at a minus 115 or a minus 120? Sure. Evaluate your risk tolerance here. 3-1 or 7-4. So I'll take a plus money price tag on this game and say, Columbus was really dominant at home last year. And for that reason, I can't get to the side with the Capitals. I really like the Capitals. I just can't officially pull the trigger here for them. Although I think they probably do put the boot to ass. So anyhow, game number 1. Columbus, Washington, under 6. Game number 2, double dipper. Double dipper. Look, a lot of people jumping in. A lot of people like this Calgary Flames team tonight. If I could quote MMA Jeff, what has this team done for you to feel like they should be the guys? And the Winnipeg Jets are coming off of getting shut out 3-0 last night. Now, what do you think the number one reason people are looking at the Flames is? What do you think? Brian Smith. See, Brian Smith, I don't think he'll turn state's evidence. I think what will happen is you look at that shirt. Look who's connected. Chardonnay. What? I like a Merlot, but it's a little heavy. I like a bottle of red. Yeah. I'm with you guys. I'm not a big wine drinker, but I do drink wine on occasion. Usually if I'm making a sauce, like if I'm braising some short ribs or making a Sunday sauce, get a bottle of red rolling around there. Get a little bottle of red. Not white. It's a little too high school girlish for me. But that's just me. I don't know. All right. So the number one reason I think people are looking at this Calgary Flames team is they're saying, oh, the Winnipeg Jets are on the second leg of a back-to-back. Okay. That's why you tune in here. So we can put that myth to bed. Because home teams on the second leg of a back-to-back without travel are a perfect 10-0 in the last 10 spots that's occurred. 10-0. And the public's clobbering this over. I double dipped. 1, Calgary's still not scoring enough goals for me to be confident they can go out there and win. They are a small dog. They open up at plus 160. Probably if you got the 160, yeah, I could see why you want to get involved in the dog business there, but not for me. That being said, I look at the other side of this thing and said, I like the under 5.5. Yeah, they just came off of getting shut out, but usually in Winnipeg, those games tend to be a little bit lower scoring. They play strong defensive hockey at home. Goaltending wise, It is Dustin Wolf versus Eric Comrie. So Hellebuck's their guy, but he just played last night. He didn't play terrible. They just didn't have any offense. And so what's changed between last night and tonight? Well, Comrie, he's got a 2.0 goals against average. Flames aren't scoring. But Dustin Wolf, hey, why not take a look at this guy? He was a Calder Trophy finalist. That's pretty darn good from a goal. Now, will he play to the back of his baseball card? Maybe at some point. You got to imagine 3.61 goals against average. The Flames aren't playing great defense. So you're not scoring offensively. You're not playing great defense. You're playing a 10-0 trend that says the team at home on a back-to-back with no rest goes out there and fucks. I think they do just that. I like the under 5.5 because I think both teams are kind of going through a little sluggish scoring drought. But then I took the Jets and I moved it up to 6.5. And you know what I like about this? DraftKings won't let you do that. They won't let that parlay go through. See, they want to try to block and channel where you can put your money. And that's because they know that they're fucked in that situation. So I had to pivot over to FanDuel. And whenever they won't let me do something, makes me want to do it. It's no different than when we were kids. You know? You're, you know, take your hand off my titty. No, it makes me want to run. No, I'm sorry. Did I get out of line there? Did I get out of line? I might have been. It might be Friday. It might just because I'm in a good mood and it's Friday. I don't know. Point is, we got to be careful. When these books don't want us to do it, that's exactly when we should be doing it. And you got to find a book that'll let you do it. At this point, you guys should have multiple books in place. It's not about saying, hey, I found this number and you can't get it. No, it's about saying, this is the price tag I got it at. I'm not going to give you a stale line. If the line moved to 6, I'm not going to give you 5.5 unless it's still out there or convert. You understand the deal. But with enough books, I'm showing you the price tag I got it at. And then you can benchmark or index your number against what's out there and decide if it's something that you want to play on or not. So certainly can't come out here and give you guys a shit line, but there you go. I think that's a great way to go out there and get it done. Low scoring game's great. And if it's a low scoring game, then we are ultimately parlaying it into the Jets come out there and win with that 10-0 trend. And we can make ourselves almost 3 units or 2 3/4 units on. Justin, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. All right. That one's probably going to get me kicked off of Twitter. Let's move to some college football, you guys. Now we're going to take some time. We're going to talk about some trends. We'll talk about some numbers. We'll talk about just some spots that don't make a lot of sense. And look, kick this thing right off the hop. I'm going to tell you, nobody has earned the right to fade North Texas more than me. Period. I keep believing in these little bastards. Mean green. It's mean that I got to give all that green to my bookie every time I bet on these guys. And now you're telling me I got to lay 27.5 points to get in the mean green business? I don't think so. I might have. Yeah, that ain't my style. No way. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take the points. It's dog day. You guys know the word. We've talked about this before. It's Fridays. Public's got money. Public loves favorites. And you're going on the road? I mean, yeah, the books say this team's no good. Well, you don't have to be, look, they're not good. 65% of the bets are on the mean green, but 72% of the cash took the Charlotte 49ers. That's the biggest discrepancy on the card this weekend right now. I say right now because we know that majority of bets for college football come in tomorrow, right? Sharper bettors may be betting now. 58.5 moved to 61.5. That 59% of the bets and 71% of the cash are on the over. It has concerned them. Favorites and under, dogs and over. That's kind of the first part of how I was evaluating this game. And then just going down to it, like this is just one of those spots that you look at what's happening with this North Texas team. Now, yeah, great record. They just thumped UTSA, in-state rival, 55-17. Good for them. They played USF. They got thumped. And they beat South Alabama. I mean, you can only play who's in your division. I get that. But probably their biggest eye-opener for me was against that Army team. They won 45-38. There's definitely scores. And I can't be mad at anybody that wants to get involved in the over. And then you look at this other team, you say they're hopeless. But what they did against that Army team, the aforementioned Army team, yeah, Mean Green beat them at Army 45-38. But there were some signs of defense out of the Charlotte team not too long ago, 24-7. Hey, and that was at Army. So it's definitely a big step up in class for these guys. You know, last night we talked about it being the Elimination Bowl. This one's not too far off, right? 1-6, you lose this game, you're fucked. I don't think they win outright by any stretch, but wouldn't fault anybody that wanted to just have a little fun and say, hey, maybe I parlay all the dogs in college football tonight on the money lines and see if that thing could come through for us. But it's an ugly game, and I just think it's too many points. The road to victory for me seems like, yeah, North Texas should be able to go out there and do whatever they want, but are they going to have enough time? And then at this point of the season, as you're getting ready to go into the second half, you're looking for bowls, you're looking for tournament, division tournaments or conference championships. You got to start playing backups. You can't have second and third stringers going in November when the game's on the line and you're trying to play for the conference championship. So I think the back door opens up. And I think Charlotte can come out there and sneak this thing. Sharps like it. I like it. I'm going to take a shot with it. I get it. Everything says take North Texas. Nobody has earned the right to fade North Texas more than me. North Texas is one of those teams. Now listen, don't get overconfident. If you see Charlotte's up 14 points in the first quarter, let's not jinx ourselves and go out there high-fiving and ass-slapping everybody, right? North Texas is that team where they're down early. And you're like, shit, why did I make this bet? And then you look in the third or fourth quarter and you go, whoa, do I have a shot to cash this? And then at the end, you realize you don't, but that's North Texas in a nutshell. The game I do like here, I told you, man, I'm going to be fired up. I'm going to be jacked up for a little Enter Sandman, and I think that'll get these boys fired up. This Virginia Tech team sucks. It's frustrating. It's another team, and I get hyped up about the Enter Sandman. That gets me going, and maybe that puts the old rose-colored glasses on here as a Hokies fan. I don't necessarily like the Hokies. I just like that Enter Sandman on a Friday night. College football. College girls running around there, having a good time with it. Plus 2.5 moved to plus 6.5 for the Cal Golden Bears, but it has started to come back. That U-shaped movement usually means at the end of that movement, and it's the sharpers coming in there. The sharps coming in going, wow, I like this number now. And so they're trying to get a middle. They're probably holding minus 2.5s, and they're coming back in and they're taking plus 6.5s. Believe. 57% of the bets and 65% of the cash are on the Golden Bears. And the total's gone up 2.5 points. It's gone from 48.5 to 51. 68% of the bets, 83% of the cash are on the over. So there's a little bit of correlation there with regards to scoring. And again, dogs and overs. Virginia Tech sucks. I can't say that enough. You know, when you look at these two things here, the problem that Cal has, their offense isn't great. They suck against the run. And the only thing that Virginia Tech really does well is run. And so when you look at that, they suck. Well, let's take a step back and put some data behind it. They suck because they're getting behind early. And if you're only good at running the football, you got to start passing it. And that's just not a good formula. Now, they do have a dual threat quarterback in the Virginia Tech side of things. And they do have some guys that can go out there and tote the rock. I think they're 52nd overall in college football in rushing yards per game. They're averaging 160.5 rushing yards a game. So there you go. Even though they're down a lot, what happens is in the second half of the game, that bend but don't break ends up breaking. And their expected yardage per rush attempt qualifies them to be 16th in the nation. So they're good when they hit the hole. They hit it hard. And I mentioned Cal. They give up 4.3 yards a carry. That's 74th in the country. So 13 rushing touchdowns allowed in 6 games. That puts them in the bottom third of bottom half of effective defenses. It's not good. So the question is, why am I looking at Cal? Well, this is where the margin is just super thin. And honestly, a freshman, I'm not a big fan this time of year with the freshmen. I mean, yeah, they're getting their experience, but this freshman here, 4 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. The only thing that I feel confident about with this game is because Virginia Tech should want to slow it down and run it out, they don't have to chuck the ball all over the yard. And they can expose a soft Virginia Tech team and go out there and find a way. Plus, we got some trends. Trends are our friends until the end. And this one has to do with coaching. Now, Virginia Tech comes in off a bye. That's another little shit. But look, they got their coach fired. So they're using an interim coach in Philip Montgomery. It's just too daunting a task to have to come out here and win this game by a touchdown. Your team stinks. The other team's not too bad. You're an interim coach. These aren't your players, and they don't have your playbook. So I just find this could be the wrong team favored. Cal's 23-12 in the dog roll under Justin Wilcox if they're a dog of 6 or more points. This one happens to qualify because they are 6.5s. The problem is the average line they're getting as a dog is 12.4, and they were covering by 4, which leaves you negative 1.5 points if you follow the math, right? 12.4, they're covering by 4, means that they're averaging 8.4. We're only getting 6.5. We're actually about 2 points short of where we need to be on this Cal side of things if you follow the math. But I just think there's too many moving parts on the Virginia Tech side to want to get involved in that game, and I'll fire here. I'll fire here on Cal plus 6.5, and I'm going to sprinkle the money line on this one too. But I'll be jacked up for the song when it starts off. I can already hear it. Smoke, I can already hear it. Nasty Nate says, Mike, my son and his boys drove from Rhode Island to Virginia to get to see the game. His boy goes there for golf. Nice, dude. Nasty Nate's on Virginia Tech first half and full game. Okay. Hey, these are tough games tonight. Brian Smith says 1-6 against the spread. What makes us think Vatek cares about a blowout? Sharky Water says, yeah, Murphy. Murphy will shoot Murphy has shot 5 of 15 in the opener. Huge shot share for the group. He'll be balling tonight at home, says Sharky. He went over his number 3 of 4 with the Spurs. Spoken Bird says, we suck, but Hokie smash. Big O's in the house. What's up, Big O? Let's go. All right. That's going to do it here on the college football side of things. I don't know. What do you want to do with that Nevada game? I would just take the points again. 21 against Boise State. Boise State's had a rough go of it here to start the season after losing Genty and trying to go. They had to go on the road to start things off. They got busted up. 21 points on a Friday night. Do they really need to go out there and win by 50? That's what you got to start asking yourself this time of year. I'll tell you this, 55% of the bets and 66% of the cash are on the Wolfpack, Nevada. It's come down a half a point. Late. Now it's 10 p.m. game, so it's hard to say late, but late movement here. Kicking this thing down. And the total's dropping. 54.5s down to 50.5s. There's some 51.5s out there with 71% of the bets and 78% of the cash on that game. Yeah, 5-2 Boise State, 1-6 Nevada. Yeah, I get it. But you're going on the road and you're laying a shitload of points. It's just a bad recipe. Friday night, crowd's going to be roaring. They're fired up. They just lost a road game 24-22 at New Mexico. They've been losing. There's no question about it. And the Broncos, they just beat that New Mexico team and then followed it up with a win against UNLV. So I don't know. I don't know what the allure is in that game. There's so much great NBA action tonight, especially the late slate, that I just kind of said, fuck it. I'll pass on that. I'll pass and we'll move in another direction. So the NBA is here. I am psyched for it. I've got a couple of spots I want you guys to take a look at here. I'm going to kick off with 7 p.m. We already talked about that Toronto Raptors game. All right. Atlanta, Orlando. I'm going to move fast through these here. We're getting up on it here. This line moved from 4.5. There's some 5.5s out there. I like the Hawks in a bounce back spot. Yeah, the Magic won at home. Last year, we know that the Magic they had some domination going on when they were on their home court, especially it seemed like when they played the Heat. I remember some trends vividly sticking out in my head. 60% of the bets, 61% of the cash are on the Hawks. Kind of a red flag, but strong bounce back trends for the Hawks. I don't think they win outright. but I think it's a one bucket type of game. 228.5 moved to 235.5 and even 236s. 96% of the bets, 96% of the cash are on this over. And we talked about the over in the Atlanta game against Toronto. We also talked about Toronto, and we talked about there's no defense played in Atlanta. Well, they're not in Atlanta. Newsflash. And I like this under here tonight. Yeah, we talked about the Heat. We talked about the Charlotte or the Orlando spots at home, and that they do tend to have a strong little under push to them out there. Just comes down to a simple one. These two teams play each other, and it goes under. You don't believe me? Atlanta, road dog of 4 or more points to the Orlando Magic. 10-1-1 to the under. 96% of the bets and 96% of the cash are on the over. Good luck. I'm going to take the under. And the public dummied it up 7 points for us. It's huge. Huge 7 points for us. Are you fucking kidding? Give me the under in this game. Let's roll into the second game here. Moving fast, moving right along. This is the one I told you guys. I got a ladder play. I'm laddering OG Anunoby all the way up to 10 plus rebounds. And I'm taking the Celtics to bounce back. Celtics to smash. They opened at 6.5. They moved to 3.5. 65% of the bets and 77% of the cash on the Celtics. Big battle. Problem I have with the Knicks is Cat. Dude had a hamstring injury and he played fucking full game. It didn't seem like he had any minutes restrictions. What are they going to do with this game? And the Celtics got to be pissed. They just lost to the Sixers at home to open the season. 225.5 is the total. It's moved to 230.5. You have 90% of the bets and 92% of the cash on the over, expecting fireworks. Don't disagree. I think it's a great matchup for Brunson. Take a look at his point total at 27.5. I think that's a reasonable number to expect him to go smash that thing. You know, couple things you got going on here. Boston. Dog shooting like shit the previous game from the 3. Can't win the game if you're not out there splashing everybody, getting them wet. 18-0 is Boston Celtics in that position. Something to consider. In other words, what that says is they just have too much talent to just roll over. And they've won 17 of those outright. So think about that. 18-0 against the spread, 17 straight out wins. We'll take a shot with the Celtics, but now the side that I was looking at was the Anunoby side. Plenty of minutes, tons of points, shitload of rebounds. In his last game, he played against the Defensive Player of the Year. So Boston ain't going to do that. Boston ain't showing up like that. They don't have a strong defensive backcourt. I think, especially now you look at it, Robinson's out. Not sure what's going on with Hart. And I mentioned the Karl Anthony Towns thing, right? That hamstring issue. I think Anunoby's going to make the stable of hose that I lined up for this year. And I think his rebound prop here tonight is mighty tasty. In fact, if you look, just so we can put some numbers around this and you guys can see the deal, 10 plus was plus 1,100. I remember that. I remember that distinctly. This game starts at 7:30 too, so you have plenty of time to 7:30 also. So you have plenty of time to get in there. 6 plus 110 for Anunoby. Got 14 the other night. 7 plus 199. Got 14 the other night. 8 plus 356. Got 14 the other night. 9 plus 650. Got 14 the other night. 10 plus 1160. It actually went 60 cents against it. I got a plus 1100 ticket earlier today. So be reasonable if you're going to ladder. Like, you know, enough to have fun, but like, hey, if you're $100 better, you don't have to go put $100 on the 10 plus, right? Like $8 will make you 100. So just think about that in relation to your risk and reward. You don't want to give it all back. I had a plus 110 on 6 plus. That's a good number. It's just a matter of maybe take a unit and then proportionately divide it out across the ladder. 7, 8, 9, 10 is 4. So maybe 35% of that unit goes on 7, 20% goes on 8, and then you split it out. So maybe you end up with 10% on 10 plus, right? That's just kind of go back and listen to it if you're not sure what I'm said there. But basically what you're going to do is you want to front load a unit in terms of the percentage as you distribute it across the number of legs of your ladder. Make sense? That way you're not giving back everything that you win if you get the first leg. You don't want to be in the hole because you tried to ladder on something that looked like it was a really good spot. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Keep me in mind. All right, let's move on to another bounce back opportunity. The Spurs and the Pelicanos, the betting public I heard a lot of love here for these Spurs today. And look, Wemby. I mean, he had a great game. What do you have, 17 rebounds? -1.5 moved to -4.5. I obviously like him to get a block. Guy's fucking 17 feet tall. 80% of the bets and 72% of the cash are on the Spurs. Has moved 3 points. Pelicans at home, 230.5 has moved to 233.5, and even 234s. 96% of the bets, 96% of the cash are on the over. And hard not to recognize what's going on down there. Is it still a Smoothie King? It was Memphis that they played. We faded them against Memphis. We had that parlay with, I think it was Toronto on the 4.5 and then Memphis money line. Didn't need to because they lost by 6. It's home opener time. I think the recipe for the Pelicans is as long as Zion's good to go, and you're getting points, fire away. Now they're on the road, right? Am I all over the place? No, they're back at home. What am I talking about? Get my shit together. Somebody get my shit together for me. Seem to not be able to do it myself. Bottom line, when you have a shit team covering spread and a good team at covering the spread, they overvalue the good team and they undervalue the shit team. In other words, buy low, sell high. That follows the criteria for this game. It's 189 and 115, 9-1 in its last 10 on the New Orleans Pelicanos side of things. Fly, Pelican, fly. Let's go with that spot there. Let's roll on to the Chauncey Billups gate. Oh, did I just drop a little Easter egg? The Chauncey Billups gate? There was another gate that made its way in the news a long time ago. Is this connected to that? You know when you're... What do they say? I was thinking of the movie. I can't think of the movie now. Rue Baker in Major League. When you're all bummed out because your mule just blew a shoe and I don't remember how it goes. It just stuck to me. But the point is this: when the world is falling down around you, what do? You need something to eliminate the distractions, and you step forward and play some of the best damn ball of your life. And you're taking on a Golden State team that's got to be tired. Coming off that second leg. I mean, look, basketball is not the same. I told you this before. Hockey, second leg of back-to-backs, different. There's 4 lines of dudes. NBA, there's 2 lines of dudes. And one of them's playing 75% of the time. Tired matters, and it does affect the overs. We've seen the overs, 19-2, I believe, to start the NBA season off. Remember game 1, I told you everyone was taking unders, and I was like, fuck that. We're not taking unders just because, they've shown historically they go under. No. The NBA wants pace, tempo, and high-scoring games. 90% of the bets, 93% of the cash on the Golden State Warriors. Guess what the money line's done? It's gone from -122 to -120. 2.5s have gone to 3s, or 1.5s have gone to, it's basically flip-flopped. Portland's a mess. There's no way they win. 82% of the bets, 78% of the cash are on the Golden State Warriors -1.5. And 226.5 moved to 227.5. 98% of the bets, 96% of the cash on the over. I think we're going to find that these overs, because they've just been smashing at this point, like you got to be selective to try to find the under spot you want to get involved with. And I like that Atlanta spot as one of them under plays for me. So I like the Blazers in this game. I think we talked about it. Second leg of the back-to-back. Starters and veterans had to play a shitload because they went to overtime. That was a big game. Playoff type of rematch against the Nuggets, and it took everything the Warriors had to come back. They lost that first half. They weren't blowing them out and could cruise control in the second half. So if you got a load management opportunity, it's right here. And the sky is falling in Portland right now. That is the recipe for me to want to get involved in a team like Portland, especially now that, again, the public dummied it up. I think you sprinkle the money line with this one. You could even parlay this money line with Cal money line. Get yourself a nice little play option there. And then we'll roll on. Last game I can't trust it. Now, this is the same problem I had with these idiots last year. My dashboard's just going to light up with Clippers. Their talent expectation, production, expected production, everything is going to tower over every other team. And it's just a matter of when can they execute, much like we talked about the Detroit Red Wings in that position. So I don't trust these fuckers, though. I don't trust them long-term. 88% of the bets and 85% of the cash, however, are on the Suns. It's gone from 9.5s to 10s. The Clippers, to me, lack motivation to go out there and cover a 10. So I want to break it down and cover the first half. Again, all the metrics, all the numbers. This total's come way down, by the way. 5 points. Favorites and unders. 98% of the bets, 93% of the cash are on the over. So what we need to do is when we're looking at that bets and cash splits, we've got to look for that little delta that shows that there's some bigger money coming in on the under. The sharper bettors are coming in on the under. And then based on that, just make a couple of under plays because the damn overs have been firing right now. It is literally bet the over and retire situation. But, we can't just auto bet fucking overs. We're an under family up in this piece. And I don't know. This one might have come down too many points for me, but I'll take the first half. And the last thing I got for you guys is some Major League Baseball. We're at the wire. So let me dump these out there. I'm sorry. Bottom line, youth versus experience. Yeah, you Savage played a great game 1. He played a shit game 2, and he's coming up against a team that's built to win the World Series. I'm sorry, Toronto. Now, it's pricey at minus 155. 68% of the bets are on the Dodgers, but 47% of the cash. So there is some perception here that some bigger bettors are taking the Blue Jays, which I can understand. They're home. It's a plus number price tag, but how many times have we seen the Sharps just by the number and they might very well be hedging their futures bets against the Dodgers, right? If I got a $1,000 bet on the Dodgers to win the World Series and it pays me out $7,500, something like that, right? I don't mind dropping $500 on the Blue Jays at plus 135 or whatever the case may be, right? Just the way the math works out in this thing. So the math ain't mathing for me when it comes to taking a U Savage guy. And what I did, I didn't realize I didn't put the price tag down. Snellzilla is the core component to me with this game. And I'm not going to lay the minus 155 here. This is plus 182 for Snell to get over 17.5 pitching outs in the Dodgers minus 155. Yes, after the first time through the order, the Blue Jays have been on record as liking to fuck. They enjoy it. I like watching it. I saw somebody set the Springer Dinger music to the Titanic the other day. I enjoyed it. Was great. We put that into fruit. We manifested that into fruition and practicality there, and we cashed from it. I just don't know that I can get there today. I'm going to parlay Snellzilla in this one for a couple of reasons. I'm riding the Snell numbers in this case. Snellzilla, killer. Off of being a killer, he continues to be a killer. And it's because he's got the experience. He struck out 10 and had 8 scoreless innings against the Brew Crew in Brew Crew desperation mode. 8-0 if he struck out 10 or more batters his last start. Now, the Jays show plate discipline, and they're home with the best win percentage in Major League Baseball. I got it. Snell's 15-0 when the total's under an 8, and he had no more than 2 earned runs the previous start. Snellzilla likes to smash. And so based on that, I like the Snellzilla over 17.5 outs, parlayed with the Dodgers to catch that big plus money price tag. And we're 2-0 in our last 2 RBI bets given out. Why Mookie? Why not? I mean, Enrique Hernandez. That guy likes to smash. He's hitting a 306 in the postseason. No doubt about it. He's got 11 hits over 10 games. He's got 348 and a 901 OPS against righties. That's the key. Snellzilla's the lefty, by the way. You know how much I enjoy those spots. Also, too much happening here on this computer. Also, where it comes to Usavich, well, where does he struggle? Against righties. So they got a lot of lefties in the lineup, but they've moved it. They made adjustments. Ohtani comes out to start this thing off. I think he walks Ohtani. I think Mookie gets to bat. I think Mookie's third pitch, he ends up knocking in fucking Ohtani to get that thing going. Savage is 161 against lefties, but a paltry 333 against righties. Mookie Betts out there against righties is hitting at 257, and everybody on the Dodgers team smashes righties. So I think it's going to be trouble. Now, all fairness, Vladdy Guerrero against lefties, he smashes. He's hitting a 326. Bobo, he's a 308, and Ernie Clement's got that 326 rolling down in there. But I think this is a good opportunity here. Put 2 units on the line to try to have some fun one way or the other. If one of the 2 cashes, we're going to be in the profit. And if they both cash, we'll make almost, 5 units on 2 plays. With a game where we could go any way. Could go either way. We don't know what's going to happen with these spots until they get out there and do it. So good luck to everybody in your action tonight, you guys. Thanks for watching. Sancho Gualo. Jerry Jones in the house. Jerry Davis, Dale Thick. Appreciate all you guys checking in, man. Get ready for a big weekend. Smoke and Mirrors, Peter Gracia, Nasty Nate, DJ Hardy, Wine Time, Mark Cal, Sharky Waters, Brian Smith. Guys, we got the deal going for you of a lifetime this weekend. Get in here. 9 a.m. Morning Steam with Ramon Scott. 9:50. UFC, college football, MLB, NBA, NHL, NFL, everything. You name it. We're going to talk it all tomorrow. It's going to be a huge day of sports capping for the 7 hours straight. And then Sunday morning, NFL Sunday, we pop off with the morning steam. Immediately after, new show alert. I'm excited for it, you guys. Everything you need for the NFL will be in one place, one stop, one destination. Hell of a team lined up for that thing. I think you guys will really enjoy it. And I appreciate you guys showing the support here tonight. So good luck with your action tonight. Have a great Friday. Be careful, be safe, bet responsibly. And I'll be back here tomorrow to see you guys